Don't be alarmed, the quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry, that quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.
And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. This is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Pop Culture Cosmos, PCC Multiverse, and of course the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you checking out all of our great shows. Make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest PCC Multiverse, the Pop Culture Cosmos, the Super BS Games Cast, and of course, everything that we do right here on this channel, the Pop Culture Cosmos, the State of Pro Wrestling, and more. Please go ahead, like and subscribe. It really helps. And a 5-star review if you're listening out there. And to all the radio stations around the world that still, after all these years, play our show, we are indebted to you. And thank you so much from everyone right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my good friend, my compadre in crime, my long time, let's just say, how about frenemy? There you go. That's always a good thing I've put in there lately. My long time frenemy, although he's not an enemy. He's been my friend. We've gone to E3s. We've had great times with Retro City Games, which we should talk about here in a second, but is a good man indeed. It is, of course, Josh, the great Peterson. What's up, man?
What is going on, man? Yeah, it's been a while. Friends for what, over 10 years now? I think that's
10. Yep, over 2015. I think when you first had the displeasure of meeting me. Yeah. There you go. Yep. I was that lackey at the back of the class in National University. There you go. That guy you didn't want to speak to, but yeah.
Hey, we were just screen names back then, man. That's all I saw. We're taking the first couple online classes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did want to say Retro City Games because you and I actually did a special show at Retro City Games. We hosted it kind of and did a whole bunch of things interacting with a big day, big celebration for Retro City Games, remember? And that was a long time ago. It seemed like just the other day. I still have the picture that pops up of you, me, and Jamie from that event. And it's so great because, it was such a great time. I hope to relive that hopefully next year when we hit number 500 with the Pop Culture Cosmos. Giving hope, keeping my fingers crossed on that. But a big shout out to Retro City Games because that location is no longer. It has been for quite some time. They moved to a much bigger location here in Henderson, nearby in Las Vegas. I told you since then that they've gotten they had a place on the Strip right there at Town Square, right near Mandalay Bay. They decided to move just down the street, about 2 blocks away at the Las Vegas, Las Vegas South Outlets. Yes, it's the South Outlets that's there, Las Vegas Boulevard South Outlets. So go ahead and check it out there. Really nice location. In fact, they've moved locations within that outlet mall. They moved from a smaller location to a larger location. So things are really going there. But I didn't even tell you the biggest thing of all.
Tell me.
Because later this month, they like the outlet mall so much, they're going to be on the other side as well with a location at the Las Vegas North outlet location.
Wait, so it's like being at 2 separate sides of the mall?
2 separate sides of the mall, exactly. Although it would be a little bit longer mall, but basically they're going to be the Las Vegas North outlet mall is right near downtown. Okay. It's about 1 mile away from Las Vegas Boulevard, right near downtown, and also as well the I-15. It's a prime spot, very heavy traffic for them. I'm really happy for them. But it brought up a point that you thought about the other day, just before the announcement came about that. I was at the Las Vegas Fashion Show Mall, and the GameStop had closed. This is something I wanted to talk about on the Super BS Gamescast about GameStops. There's several that have closed in Las Vegas within the past year. I understand GameStop farming or GameStop reselling is still a thing. There's still locations here in Las Vegas. There's still locations around the country, as we'll talk about here in a minute with the Nintendo Switch 2 and some faux pas, so to speak. But what is your thought on GameStop, and what is your thought about if it should potentially die out? Because I understand they're doing other things to try and sustain their lifespan. You know, the crypto stuff that they're getting into, you know, the meme stock they've gotten to twice or three times this decade, which you have been a part of as well. Interesting to note, again, because they were a long-time resident of the Las Vegas Fashion Show Mall. And to the best of my knowledge, they've closed down their location there because I saw it's gone. So I don't think they've moved anywhere else in that location. Your thoughts, my friend, because there's no, well, Retro City Games is the closest locations to the strip. I know that Pink Gorilla Games has also, they're a Seattle-based chain that actually just recently opened in the Chinatown area in Las Vegas, which is nearby as well. But there's no actual location on the strip. But be that as it may, your thoughts on GameStop? Is it all important to physical gaming, or does a sign that GameStop's imminent doom at some point in time down the road might mean the end of physical gaming?
No, honestly, I don't think that it's them shutting. So they are shuttering a bunch of locations out here. They closed 2 locations out here. We had 4, and 2 of them have shut down in the past 6 months. So they closed those, but now what's happening is the ones that are left aren't even getting any business because people are now taking their business to the mom and pop shops. So we have, we got a couple.
As I see from Retro City Games, because they've gotten a 3rd location. So.
Yeah, so I don't think that it's killing physical games. I think it's actually like creating a renaissance for people. Sorry, not killing physical games, but I think it's creating a renaissance for the mom and pop game shops because you could still there's always going to be a demand for physical games. They're not going to make as many of them, they're not going to produce as many, and a lot of titles probably won't get physical releases at all, but as long as the ones that are already made are in circulation still at these shops, I think people will still continue to buy them. We for a while though, we had an issue out here where all the mom and pop shops were getting less and less games in and stocking with more and more like collectibles and action figures and stuff and trying to follow what GameStop did. And there's like there's 2 good game shops in town. The rest of the ones that were also mom and pop shops they just look like junk markets now. So yeah, anyways, I think that this is going to drive people back into these privately owned stores. Actually, I was reading too that the owner, somebody bought the GameStop I guess license in Canada, and they turned it back into Electronics Boutique. So or EB Games, what's called there. So I think that we're in and over the next couple of years, GameStops are going to completely disappear. And
remind me to tell you a story. I think I've told you before off air, but remind me to tell you a story about the EB Games off air.
I will,
because there's a collector's item that's in plain view that I want to tell you about here coming up here when you get a chance. So just remind me, EB Games.
Yeah. Well, here I want to hear about it, man. But so we had, like, speaking of Electronics Boutique, so we had. In California, we had Electronics Boutique and we had Funko Land, and both of those were purchased by GameStop out here. So they all became GameStops. And GameStop, I remember when it opened, I was like really excited about it. But then you go in there and it's just like they overcharged for everything in there. Like you can go to Electronic or Funko Land and find a used game for 40% of the retail price, but you go into GameStop and they're selling it for like $5 cheaper than the retail price. It was a major bummer. But anyways, I digress. Like I said, I think within the next 2 years we'll see GameStops disappear. So I'm happy that our buddy Doug here is doing so well, and I wish him continued success. And anyone else out there too that owns a mom and pop shop, like you guys are the ones who are going to keep physical gaming alive, and you will have my allegiance forever.
And the thing is, again, like we're saying, it is so good to see retro games in certain aspects still thriving, even though with the new consoles, physical media is becoming less and less something that they want, or something that they want, need part of. Yeah, exactly. So it's still an issue, something that's thriving. Again, I just stopped by Pink Gorilla Games yesterday. Shout out to them. Very neat, clean store. Truly appreciate the time. It's a little small on the smaller side, but they've got excellent locations in Seattle. I've been to before, but they're here now, and it really just looks like a really nice, sweet setup right there in Chinatown. And then again, like I said, I mentioned our good friends Doug and Nicole at Retro City Games, Antonio. Big shout out to all of them. They do a great job there. See any one of the locations, which will be 3 by the end of this month, and I'm really happy for it. We talked about it before, Doug and I, years ago, about getting a 3rd place. When he got his 2nd place, what his timeline was, and I'm glad to see it being fulfilled, and I'm just wishing him happy success. I know that his time at Town Square, right near the Mandalay Bay, we had talked about on the show about how he was treated there, even though he was a guy that was paying his rent on time, paying his lease on time, to the best of our knowledge. And my conversations with him, they were a great tenant, but because they had a status of being a video game resale store, they were not aligned with what Town Square wanted. So what could have been a bad situation, they just moved down the street to a pretty good volume outlet location, has flourished into a probably their best store that I've seen them ever have at any of their locations at the South location. So I'm expecting nothing but great things at the North location. And their biggest store of all is still in Henderson, where they have a ton of stuff there if you want to go ahead and check it out. So yeah, big shout out to all the mom and pop resellers out there. You are a mom and pop resellers out there, Josh, with of course your entity that you're trying to go ahead and still do. So you still have physical games, you still have physical media, you still have collectibles that you buy and sell. So my hat is off to you for going ahead and continue to pursue the dream about what may be in store for everybody out there with your success in that field.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we're still shooting for that physical location, so we'll see one day, man.
Absolutely, one day indeed. And if that's the case, I would love to go ahead and visit there and absolutely go there with eggs. This is for what you get. No, this is for that episode you called. This is for that one you said King Arthur was really good.
Oh man, we're not going back.
I would never do that to you, sir. I would just go ahead and just be honored to go ahead and see your success story indeed, and make sure that would do what I can to help you support that indeed. So obviously, if that's the case, that would be great. But if you have any mom and pop gamers stores out there, or chains, as we're seeing with Retro City Games and Pink Gorilla, please let us know about how you support them. We would love to hear your thoughts on that, because absolutely the market now needs you more than ever with the Switch 2, which we'll talk about here in a second. That is absolutely kind of shying away from physical media, and the future of PlayStation, Xbox also shying away from it. We want to hear your thoughts on physical media. Retro gaming isn't alive now more than ever. We want to hear your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. And once again, June 28th, I believe, is the day for the 3rd location for Retro City Games. It will be at the Las Vegas North Outlet Mall. I always get that mixed up between the Las Vegas South and North. Las Vegas North Outlet Mall. It'll be right next to downtown and the I-15. So go ahead and check it out near Charleston Boulevard and I-15, just about 1 mile away from Las Vegas Boulevard. So go ahead and check it out at the end of this month. And then also, as well, they have a store right now waiting for you at South location on Las Vegas Boulevard, right there at the Las Vegas South Outlet, right there. And then also, of course, a great main location in Henderson as well. But my friend, all those stores, Pink Gorilla, Retro City Games, they're all going to go ahead and get eventually, if they don't have already, some stock on Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, because the Nintendo Switch 2, yep, they did their midnight launch last night, my friend, at several locations. I did have TJ, my good friend TJ Johnson, and I were interacting till like 4 in the morning, talking about exactly going back and forth about what the response was. I was actually looking in on the locations and live places as far as on various social media outlets about the lines going around Best Buys and GameStops, which we'll get to in a second again on GameStop. Here we go. But he was talking to me because, tell me about what's going on with Costco. And looks like, I don't know if he's going to get one, but he's thinking about getting one. But the response there, because there were people already waiting in line there. Nintendo Switch 2, it just seems like no matter what price you put it at, or no matter what price they put it at, it just seems like there's like Apple. Does not matter what the product is, does not matter how much it is, does not matter what it does or doesn't do. People are going to buy it, at least initially. There's a crowd that's always going to buy it, no matter what it is. And I've been watching eBay now. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the pricing here in a minute. Your thoughts on the grand launch of the Nintendo Switch 2?
I think it's not as bad as everybody thought it was, because like our stores up here were all pretty well stocked with them. Like they, not enough people were interested enough to pick them out so fast they sold out. So, but honestly, one thing Nintendo's always been really good at. So I remember the Wii, for example. So my Switch, I was able to get it like 2 weeks after the launch happened. I just walked into a Target and happened to see some sitting there, and I bought one. But with the Wii, I remember working at Best Buy, and they just kept it was sold out for like the first month, but after that, they just kept getting more and more and more shipped in. So I mean, I don't have any doubt that we're going to see that it's going to be easy to get, within the next several weeks. But I mean, yeah, we're all pretty well stocked out here. I mean, I've seen them at Walmart and I've seen them at Target. I haven't picked any up because I just don't. We're making a trip out to California, in July, so I'm gonna wait till afterwards to get one. But yeah, I mean,
you shouldn't have a problem to get one.
Yeah, I think the launch went all right. I mean, I'm seeing people.
Well, if they're not sold out, then it didn't go as well as Nintendo planned, because Nintendo wants everyone single.
Yeah. So
already.
JSJ, I actually had read a lot of people saying that Mario Kart World has a big open world, but there's really nothing to do in it.
Ouch!
So I don't know if you. No, I'm curious. Like, if you've played it, like, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it. But
yeah, because JSJ is telling us to join the bandwagon, the Xbox Game Pass bandwagon. I'll join that one. I have no desire to buy one. I have no desire. There's no need to buy something that I could go ahead and get an emulation that can do the same thing for less in many cases that the Switch 2 can do. JSJ likes it. He says it's better than Mario Kart 8. It better be for what you're paying for it. That's all I'll say. Well, you probably got it bundled, so you get a savings on that.
Like, it's funny you bring up Mario Kart 8 though, because that was not actually like a Switch release. Like, that was originally that was a Wii U game, and that was they just relaunched it on the Switch. So the Switch one never got an original Mario Kart game. So it's
so that was smart on the part of Nintendo to do just exactly that. Obviously, it paid off for them, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm hoping this one's really good, and I hope that Donkey Kong's really good. So I'm sure once more games are dropped on the Switch, then the Switch 2, maybe it'll be a little bit more, have a little higher demand for it. But like I said, I think the launch went really well, and I think that the scalpers are kind of going to end up eating their shoes here soon.
That's what I wanted to talk about next. That remind me about GameStop if I'd forget, because there's something about GameStop that's hilarious, which you'll get that to here in a second. But the eBay, I've been monitoring the eBay all morning, and then pretty much today. It never seemed to really top 700, 725 in most eBay listings. Most eBay listings had right around between 650 and 700. Even around 3 or 4 in the morning, just shortly after release, with actual physical copies shown in the description. Right now, they're selling about 650. I want to say 660. So I mean, at what, $150 more, or after your shipping
I
involved,
Yeah, I
you're
mean,
making $100,
again though,
120.
I'm seeing a lot of pictures online where people are just walking into Walmart and paying 450 for it. So what
Yeah.
I've it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually pays those prices.
So yeah, after the initial wave, it's interesting to see that, because so early on, you're supposed to sell out your first lot of your inventory, which is the case for most of these launches. You're supposed to sell clean out and have people wait another week or 2 weeks, or sometimes months, before you get a new allotment to send to you, and it's because of demand. That is a big concern. So is the demand actually there? I mean, we saw the initial group and line of people waiting around the block, as far as for around Best Buys and GameStops and whatnot. But if you can just walk into a Costco, even a Verizon, and walk in there and get it, that tells me the demand may not be as high. Again, I haven't seen the initial numbers. We won't know the initial numbers for another month or two or so. So again, that could be subject to your choice. I know dollar wise it's going to beat the Switch. Dollar wise, since it's $200 more, or $200 difference roughly that we're talking about, it's going to beat the Switch in general dollars sold in its initial time. That's not in question, but the number of units sold is really what's going to be interesting, Josh, especially early on.
Yeah. Yeah, and it like I said, will we continue to be able to go to stores and find stock? I'm sure they'll like trickle out of stock eventually, but I mean,
Mhm.
are we going to ever have a time when it's just like, no, you cannot get these consoles? Like, like the Xbox and PlayStation, like those were not readily available for at least a year, but it doesn't seem like the Switch 2 is going to have that issue.
So right now it is being resold on the market for about 650, 660 is what I'm seeing. I'm looking at the final bids for some of the latest offerings, and it seems to go that in that realm. Maybe it'll top out around 700. So the people that were predicting $1,000 for these to be resold, that doesn't seem to be coming to fruition. And again, like you said, the availability seems to be pretty good if you want to go even right now and buy one at a selected store. So that's interesting to see, and as far as how it's going, and then also the accessories, the number of accessories that are out there that you need, and this welcome tour that people have to pay extra $10 for.
$95, right, to get everything you need for it, or is it more?
Exactly. To utilize the welcome tour properly, not only do you have to pay $10 for the welcome tour, you have to buy $95, I think, right, in accessories in order to properly or fully utilize that welcome tour. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, again, but Nintendo fans like JSJ, super fans that went out and stayed out to midnight to go ahead and get one, they're apt to do it, and it just is amazing because you know YouTube is going to pop up their own welcome guides, their own YouTube guides, their own Nintendo Switch 2 guides through various platforms and social media. That's probably going to make the experience or minimized on the Nintendo Switch 2. If people want to understand or learn how to use it, they may just be able to go to YouTube here in just a matter of days and just be able to find out through that how they properly utilize their Nintendo Switch 2. It's so funny, man, because again, Nintendo sometimes spites itself by biting its own hand to feed
Yeah.
something else. And yeah, it just is sometimes very disappointing the way they go about treating their own loyal customers that they do.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. I mean, and also, I know a lot of people are holding out for Donkey Kong to be released, but yeah, sorry. I was reading something about Nintendo today, and like they're a lot of the emulation community really has a lot of disdain for them because they're very sue happy. But uh, you know that being as it may, the Switch 2 I like I said, I think the launch went really well. I imagine as more of these like exclusive titles, and I'm sure we're going to see some more stuff announced here with these summer showcases. And who knows, if we get that Super Mario Odyssey 2, then I'm 100% on board. I'm going to go buy me a Switch 2.
All right, but do you have thoughts on your experience already with a Nintendo Switch 2? We would love to hear your thoughts on that. But before we hit the half-hour break, my friend, GameStop. Again, GameStop. So the locations that are still open for GameStop, or Best Buy, or Walmart, anyway. When you buy a Nintendo Switch 2, I've got a guide for us right here, Josh. Okay, this is our guide for everyone out there. So everybody wants to hear what our update on this. If you're going out and buying a Nintendo Switch 2, for the love of God, man, please, or woman, please do not let the associate when you buy it staple the receipt to the box, especially the front of the box, from what I'm hearing. Because at GameStop, several occasions now, because I guess that's their policy, make sure you staple it to the front of the thing to not only damage the box for resale value and things like that, or collectible, whatnot. Yeah, not only damage that, but when you do staple it, the boxes are so flimsy on this Nintendo Switch 2 box that it pokes a hole large enough to damage the actual Nintendo Switch 2 screens. So several Nintendo Switch 2s have already been damaged by GameStop and other retail outlets already, my friend.
Like idiots, man. Because here's the thing: like the first Nintendo Switch, if you look at the way when you open the box, the console itself is actually like flat up against the lid. So I mean, that's for that little like cradle, that cardboard cradle that holds it is literally right up against the lid. So they should have known that, knowing that that's how the original release. And I don't know why in the world you would staple something. Like, it's always best practice, use tape. Like, I really don't understand. Like, that is some pure act of stupidity. And I am sure with all the money that's going to cost at GameStop, some people are going to end up getting fired.
And the thing is, though, not only that, but the fact that if you're collectible, if I didn't want to open it, and just as a day one Nintendo Switch 2 Mario Kart, or even the base unit by itself, and didn't want to open it, and you end up stapling the receipt to it, that is absolutely moronic. Because we live in an environment now where these things are valuable. Nintendo Switch Marketplace has proven to be very valuable among collectors.
Yeah.
So just the fact that people are just stapling these receipts to something that others value greatly is absolutely mind-boggling. And just and if GameStop, if they leave us, if they filed, we've been predicting their doom now for some time, but if they leave us at some point in time, the next 5-10 years, Josh, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, honestly, like they have they just bought like a bunch of crypto too, which caused their stock to plummet significantly. So I don't think that is a sign of desperation to me. Like, they're barely hanging on. So like I said, I think within the next 2 years, we're going to see GameStop's vanish into nothingness. And I'll give more power to the mom and pop shops, just go buy physical games.
Absolutely. Still waiting for that Happy Hoarder location. Hopefully the dream will come true for you, my friend. And if it does, we will support it every which way we can right here at the Cosmos. But if you're out there and you are looking for a Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2, or you bought one already, again, please let us know your experience so far. Is it everything that you want it to be? Most of the launch games that are available for it, that are specific to Nintendo Switch 2, I'm sure you've already tried once or twice already, but let us know how this experience is this time around. Or all the other games. How are the Nintendo Switch games, the original Nintendo Switch games, playing on your Nintendo Switch 2? We want to know that as well. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, 1.5 hour down, 1.5 hour to go here on the PCC Multiverse. Truly appreciate you joining us. It is Josh the Great Peterson, the happy hoarder himself, Humanican Media's own Josh Peterson. Go ahead and check out what he's doing today on Humanican Media. And then, of course, also as well, go ahead, the happy hoarder, and also with him, Brank, and I. Well, actually, I may not be available next week, but Josh and Brank will be here on the air next week sometime for the Super BS Gamescast to talk about all the good stuff coming for, what is it, the Summer Game Fest? Not E3, should be
Summer
E3,
Game
could be
Fest.
E3.
Tomorrow, man. It's tomorrow.
It could be E3, isn't E3, but should be E3, but isn't, but, you know, again, need I digress on that? I could be thus beating a dead horse already, but it's so funny because one of my favorite replay movies, whenever it comes up on Netflix, is Starship Troopers. So I replay it, at least almost once a month at this point. And I love the scenes from the Los Angeles Convention Center that they did. There's certain scenes that they filmed there, and it's so funny because I can tell them, I'm like, E3, E3.
I miss it, man. I miss it. Yeah, that was always huge because it went across like every there's something in just about every hall there. So I mean, I remember the first year we went, it was in one hall and there's a bunch of like stuff out in the lobbies. But the second year we went, it was in multiple halls. So I mean, it was definitely, it had gotten really big, and it was I think as soon as they started opening it up to the fans, I think that's when the media decided to maybe go elsewhere. So I don't know, man. I do miss it. I got a lot of nostalgia for E3. I remember even before we started going, just sitting at my desk, waiting for it to start and checking out all the cool games coming out. But now it's like it's spread out through an entire like 2 weeks, and it's so sporadic. They'll have like smack dab in the middle of the day. Like all the big showcases used to be on the weekend. Remember that? They had Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo.
I remember Xbox. In fact, I've already told you the story of the Wii U launch, as far as the Wii U announcement at the Nokia, at what was then the Nokia Center at LA Live that we went to. We drove all night to go there, and I was so excited. We were like way up in the rafters, and the rest of my crew from Game Source, they were all sleeping. They were so excited for the Wii U. They were all sleeping. That should have been just should have told me right there how excited people were going to be over the Wii U. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, but my many years of going to E3, I always enjoyed it. I should clarify my statements. I love E3 day one. Day two, I still really kind of like. It's day three when the people who are wearing the same shirts for 3 days and the body odor kicks in, and the people who didn't shower for 3 days, or even the guys with the suits. Yep. Guys with the suits are wearing the same suits for 3 days. It's like CES. It's an interesting, how should I say, aroma around day three, and I'll just leave that. So I may not be as infatuated with E3 on day three. E3. I'll just say my many years of going to E3 and CES and all that stuff. But I remember one year that what was it? It wasn't Old Spice. It was some brand. They were passing it out. They were going up and down the street, across the street from the convention center, just handing out antiperspirants, free antiperspirants, and for a reason. And they're doing it for a reason. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But I have many stories on E3. It's just always, I've already told you about my Cliff Brzezinski one. I've already told you about the doctors from the Mass Effect one. Yeah, just so many good days from the days. You and I even just, heading back, trying to do a podcast on the
car, yeah. Recording on the phone there. Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So what are your thoughts? Well, actually we were going like in 15 miles an hour, so it wasn't really
that LA traffic, man. You gotta love it.
Exactly. As I always say about LA traffic, in my many years driving it, going on the 110 parking lot to the 101 going nowhere. So yes, I will leave it at that. But it is, of course, the PCC Multiverse is Josh Gray Peterson along with me, Gerald Glassford. But right before the launch of Nintendo Switch 2, Sony's the PlayStation, it tried to go ahead and strike back against the evildoers at Nintendo with a state of play, supposedly with that they were going to go ahead live and just announce all these great things, and we had made some predictions on it, and Brank and you and I on the Super BS Gamescast did, and didn't quite go as planned. Did you get a chance to check out some of the highlights of it, some of the announcements or games that
So
they have?
I watched it, or I attempted to watch it. I fell asleep for like 20 minutes.
Speak again, like the Wii U launch or the Wii U announcement event.
Yeah,
That's
so it was nothing like what I thought it would be. Like there I'm not excited. I'm not excited about any of it. You know, like the Final Fantasy Tactics, yes, you know, I'll definitely check that out. Neo 3 looked cool, and then the what was the other one? Pragmata looks interesting, but like none of it really screams like get hyped because this is gonna be awesome. It really doesn't. Like I'm not even excited to play Ghost of Yotei, you know, and I loved Ghost of Tsushima. So I don't know, man. I didn't see really anything that makes me really excited to play anything on the PlayStation, you know, and yes, I know that it's not, you know, they're not going to be touching some of those first party titles for a while, but I was expecting to at least see a couple first party titles, but no. Also, let me ask you a question. Sea of Remnants, do you think they're just ripping off Sea of Thieves? Because that's what
yes,
it
they
feels
are.
like. That's it. Looks like a 1-for-1 knockoff of the game.
Yep, absolutely. If I was Microsoft, I'd be a little pissed. I'd just say that. Now, the thing here, though, the reason why I said Sea of Thieves in our preview, Sea of Thieves 2 is they're season 16, right? I think that's what they just announced, season 16.
Yep.
I mean, again, once you get into those double digit seasons, you may want to think about bringing a new version of it up. But you're right, that Sea of Remnants was a blatant ripoff, in my opinion, of Sea of Thieves, and yeah, I don't think that's going to go over well with the community. We did get a look at the Hitman Studios, IO Studios, their latest creation with James Bond and using that license, the 007 First Light, which is so funny because they promoted Lenny James from The Walking Dead. But they promoted Lenny James more than they promoted the James Bond part of it, which is kind of funny. I mean, Lenny James is a great character actor. He's been on everything from Blade Runner, the latest Blade Runner that got released that you and I love so much, to The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, etc., etc. But yeah, his name was the prominent one out there, which was kind of funny his character is a supporting character to James Bond. But the 007 First Light looked okay. I did, just like, wow.
It's like every James Bond game that has come out since GoldenEye has
fighting, stealth, driving.
It's just been okay, and that's kind of it.
Well, I'll just say this again. I was talking to, as I said, TJ Johnson. We were talking back and forth, all morning in regards to what the numbers were and the availability of the Switch 2 and all that, and as far as the eBay and whatnot. But one of the things I said is, how did you like the state of play? He said he was disappointed with it. Nothing really impressive there. Like you, not really a whole lot that was you took away from. I said this, Josh. The Silent Hill game was announced, and it's this version is Silent Hill F. And they gave a release date for it. That's not the only thing that gets an F for me. I think the state of play from PlayStation gets an F because of really didn't do much. New Hot Shots Golf, which they're not naming Hot Shots Golf, as they're naming it something else that has Hot Shots in it. But yeah, it's not exactly Hot Shots Golf. Again, like you talked about with the Marvel Token Fighting Souls, which is a lot like BlazBlue, I believe, as far as the fighting style from what I was seeing. Oh no, Guilty Gear, my bad, on that. So I just, again, nothing pops out. Nothing pops out. The 007 looks pretty standard. I mean, I'll play it. It'll be on Xbox. So that's the thing. It's probably the most visible game that came up in this conference, in this showcase, and it's going to be on Xbox. Most of the things that you see here will be on Xbox. The stuff that is going to be specific for PS5 and PSVR 2, which is still alive, barely.
Yeah, I mean, Thief was a dead franchise, and then they made it a not dead franchise for a thing that needs to die.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of disappointing. After all this time, after all this wait, and what they showed off wasn't impressive. Wasn't impressive at all. A lot of afterthoughts again, and then the Ghost Yote, it's going to have its own state of play. They really needed to have Ghost Yote be part of this state of play, my friend, not its own specific state of play, because this state of play needed a lot more help, Josh.
Yeah, it was. I was really disappointed in it, and I don't know what I was expecting. And again, there are a few things that are cool. Like I said, Neo 3 Final Fantasy looks cool. Pragmatic, I think was what the game was called.
Mm-hmm.
But I was definitely expecting a lot more. There's just a lot of like really goofy games and not enough games that are like gonna really satisfy that first person story that Sony has become known, or third person story that Sony has become known for telling.
Sword of the Sea, again, having two games named Sea, has C in it, as that kind of just like, and then they like right there with each other, that was kind of like, I'm going to confuse the audience out there. Survival, the Karn is landing, Karn is going to be out there. If you want to go ahead and take a look, that's going to be coming out later this year. That's I think a climber type deal as far as the game is concerned. It looked okay. Digimon Storytime, as far as Digimon Storytime Stranger. So if you're interested in Digimon World, that's going to be coming out. But that's coming out to all platforms. I mentioned everybody's got Hot Shots. Just call it Hot Shots. Everybody knows it as the Hot Shots. But just say Hot Shots, everybody's golf, or just everybody's golf Hot Shots. It's just that's
it, man. That's all we need.
Yeah. Babies. Baby Steps. What was the deal with Baby Steps? I don't.
Weird game. I mean, it looks funny, but it just looks weird too.
Yeah, it looks weird. So, and we've already going to get weird with coming up here soon with Death Stranding 2. So that's going to be weird in and of itself. I mean, overall, just not impressed. I was not impressed by it. I want a reason to play a PlayStation 5, Josh. And again, after this, even a Ninja Gaiden Ragebound,
Yep.
Okay, a wireless fight stick that they got they're going to announce. Yeah, I'm wondering that's going to be okay. This is a PlayStation first party fight stick. How long are they going to support it? Because their long history of peripherals and how they abandon them quite quickly. Your thoughts on a fight stick that's wireless? Going to be lag time, and you already know if you're fighting stick and you're wireless and you really got lag time there. What's the net code like? That whole bunch of variables when you're playing fighting games that people don't usually recognize.
Yeah, I mean, and most people, like, they make their own custom like fighting boards. So I don't know what I don't know, this just feels like another peripheral that Sony's going to make that nobody's going to care about in 6 months time.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing I have right there. But again, overall, just nothing that just of course the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, but that's going to be, I'm assuming that's going to be available on many platforms outside of just PS4 and PS5. Romeo is a Dead Man. That was kind of interesting, a little bit. So I'm interested to see where that one goes. I will give it an F, as Silent Hill F that was announced as far as a release date for that actually is. I know that Astrobot's going to get some new levels, so isn't that something?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the post-launch content for this one has been weird because it's the first one that has been supported this long after launch that has been made by a a AAA studio under Sony's branch. So I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, I played Astrobot. I liked it. But I also don't know if I have any desire to go back and play more.
Exactly. Just nothing that you and I talk about that is just like so excited and about, and that's the thing. Um, just disappointing in that aspect. I guess I won't give it an F, but certainly was underwhelming from PlayStation. I want a reason to buy a PlayStation 5. Now that right now, technically, if on the resale market, PlayStation 5s are cheaper for a short time than Nintendo Switch 2. I would
Yeah.
like to go ahead and have a reason to buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
What'd you
Yeah.
say? I'm sorry. Go ahead, my friend.
Oh no, I didn't say anything. I just said yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I just want a reason to buy one. I know you bought one day one, but you want a reason to keep on playing it. And then as per our conversation on Super BS Gamescast recently, I talked to Frank. I'm like, where did you play this game? Oh, Game Pass. Where did you play this game? Oh, Game Pass. Where did you play this game? Game Pass. It's becoming apparent that, yeah, I understand Xbox is far behind, and that's their own doing as far as in the console sales roar and whatnot. But right now, even the Nintendo Switch 2 that's out there, it still seems like Xbox is providing a better value and more interesting things right now. And we haven't even gotten to their announcements that'll be coming up here this weekend.
Yeah. yeah, and yeah, who knows? I don't actually. I hope we see some Nintendo stuff. I don't. Nintendo hasn't officially announced a gaming thing yet, so I'm assuming it'll be soonish.
Wouldn't it be great if they had, had an event to coincide with the launch of their own console? Would that have been really kind of smart, just to provide more interest in it? Do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, but that doesn't sound like something they do. They're too busy suing Pal World.
And trying to calculate how much they made over the course of the past few hours here. But we'll see. Again, it is, of course, the PlayStation State of Play. Please go ahead and let us know your thoughts coming up here on if you liked what you saw at the PlayStation State of Play or anything that goes on this weekend during this Summer Games Fest. E3 should be E3, not E3, but would love it to have be E3 again this whole period. Whatever is announced from third parties, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. Please let us know if you saw or heard or watched anything that you are excited about in the world of gaming that comes up this weekend. Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But before we head on out, my friend, wanted to go ahead and get your thoughts on what you've been watching lately. What has gotten you invested? Because we're right now in a little bit of a lull. The Memorial Day movies, they're getting a little bit farther and farther distance. We're still not up yet to some of the big boys, the big hitters. Like we've seen the latest trailers for Fantastic Four. Superman is going to have another big trailer coming up here, but those are those are still a month away from release. Jurassic Rebirth, whatever you want to call it, as far as the latest Reborn Again movie from the Jurassic Park series. Before this comes, it's a little bit of a dead time right now. I mean, the movies that are coming out right now, The Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's latest movie is coming out. That, as far as in wide release, but Karate Kid Legends didn't really hit the mark. I mean, what you been doing right now? What have you got planned for this time period, or has anything really caught your eye as of late?
So I watched a movie called The Ballad of Wallace Island, which is like still in theaters, and that was an indie flick. That one was okay. I haven't I want to take my kids to go see Thunderbolts. That was good. Right now, like TV wise, me and the wife have been watching Clarkson's Farm season 4, and that one's been it's been okay. But I am also switch the watching Gundam Quux and Lazarus on HBO Max. So I've got 3 shows going, you know, and I'll watch those ones till they're done. But movie wise, man, I don't really know. Like I saw Thunderbolts, but there's not really anything that's calling to me right now. What about you though? What do you got going on?
Well, it's so funny because I turned on Netflix last night, and the first thing I see popped up in my algorithm was Now You See Me, which I've already seen a long time ago. But in the top 10 movies are Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too. It's interesting to see what pops up in the top 10 most viewed movies or most viewed TV shows that you know they'll just these random stuff that's going on. I know in the case of Now You See Me and Now You See Me Too, it's because they're setting you up for Now You See Me 3, which is coming up here in the not too distant future. The
Yeah.
third one is coming up here. They've already announced it, shown off a trailer or whatnot, or a teaser for it, and that's coming up around the corner. So I understand why Now You See Me 1 and 2 were put out on Netflix, and of course now people are catching up to it. But yeah, it just was kind of interesting to see that. But I want to go ahead a little bit offbeat and say, you know what, right now, because I finished The Studio, I finished Andor, you know, I talk about Severance. The Pit has garnered really a lot of great review stuff as far as thoughts, and that might be the leading contender for Emmys that's coming up here. The Emmy nominations are close to being announced. Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV Plus, the Bono from U2 Songs of Surrender, I believe, is the title. That's a great doc that's on Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus is really getting some good stuff lately.
Yes.
The Studio it looks to be the lead as far as right now for best comedy, and it's really funny. But it's a dead time right now for me as far as anything really new. But what I always go back to is comfort food, and I know this is not for everyone. This is designed for offending a lot of people out there because it was something that was done a long time ago. In fact, it reminds me because Tires, which was just released the second season for Tires, a short 30-minute sitcom with season 2 just came out. First one was successful. It's done on a minuscule budget, and the first season was okay. I thought it was had its moments, but it is again very controversial in the way it approaches things. But it reminded me about something that was really super funny back in the day, and I always go back to it as my comfort food. Like I tell you, always go back to like watch an episode or watch a movie rerun. I rerun Starship Troopers once a month because that movie is just so watchable to me. Other stuff as far as I go through recycle back and forth again. I just did the Oceans movies again, which were on
I
Netflix.
went through those with my kids not too long ago. They
Yeah.
like everyone else, they did not like the 13 one.
Third one's a hard watch. 1 and 2 are good.
So jumbled and didn't make any sense. But yeah, they really like the first 2.
Al Pacino's like way over the top. Al Pacino turned to 11. Speaking of turned 11, I can't wait for Spinal Tap 2 when that comes out later this year. Just to give everybody a heads up and watch out for that. But the thing I like to go ahead and watch when I get some comfort food is MXC. Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, which was a staple for Spike TV 2003 to 2007. This show, cable television show, it skirted the envelope, so to speak. So it is extremely offensive to some. It is something where I think a lot of people might not be with it, but if you are, please go ahead. And I just think it's going to be something that I think you'll enjoy. If you are interested in the sophomoric humor of the early 2000s, like for instance, 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, those type of movies, those sophomoric movies that are super bad, Tropic Thunder, those movies that really pushed the envelope back in those days, in that first decade, that type of humor, it's not for everyone. But I tell you what, it is so funny. It's based off of as far as the Takeshi's Castle, which was a very popular game show from the 80s. They overdubbed it, created some own production values of its own, and a comedy troupe, improv troupe, is able to. What it was is they took the footage from Takeshi's Castle and basically overdub it, like Mystery Science Theater 3000.
There's
As
been
far
a
as
lot, like in the wake of MXC's success, like there's a lot of shows that tried to mimic that. Like there's another one with
well, Wipeout, they sued Wipeout. Takeshi's Castle sued Wipeout because and then actually settled out of court on that one. To give you an
yeah,
idea,
yeah, that's crazy.
and
But
Wipeout
yeah,
was around for 15 years. So
yeah,
we as human beings love to see other human beings fail miserably, and that's what it
yeah,
does. But
you
you
get
get a
hurt.
chance. It is available on Amazon Prime. It is MXC. I believe certain seasons, certain episodes are there. It was only 4 seasons long. But if I had a show on TV, I would love to bring back. I think it would be MXC. I think you would have to have the sophomore humor. People would have to have a thick skin and listening to it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But seeing Tires on the air again for a second season and seeing how they're doing well with that sophomore humor, and it's not even anywhere near as funny as MXC. I would love to see MXC go on the air and be on the air for a fresh new set. There's still many more episodes of Takeshi Castle they could have gone ahead and played off and parodied off.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I honestly, man, I don't think you could do that these days. Like same thing, they got that sequel series of The Office coming out. I don't. The Office is a show you cannot make today. You would not
Yeah.
be able to, like, without hurting someone's feelings or getting it shut down or like just getting lambasted on the internet for making a joke about, one group or another. Like it's just I don't know if something like MXC could exist today.
Well, if there's a show that you would want to see brought back to life or remade or what have you, what would that be, my friend, before we head on out?
Ooh, yeah, I don't know, because like I never got super into a lot of shows because the nature of shows is that they none of them actually get to end, right? Like I wish, like one of my favorite shows of all time is House, and I know that they had an ending like planned for another like 3 seasons, but then they were told like, hey, we're shutting this down right now. So they gave it this like really crap ending that just made the rest of the series feel like a waste of time. So like I would love to see them like scratch that and go back to, and finish House, but I don't know, man. Like I don't have anything off the top of my head that I would be like, yes, I want to see more of this. Because Entourage, I would love, like, Entourage would be a good one I'd like to see more of, but other than that, man, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. But if you guys out there have a show that, per season, more seasons was there, and something you thought maybe still had more left in the tank, we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, I truly appreciate you being able to do the show on such short notice, on a tight window. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
No, I think we covered everything, man.
Absolutely. Well, Nintendo Switch 2 owners, I'm still seeing on eBay pop up $650 if you want to get a resale. But if you are able to, at your department store near you, Walmart, even Verizon stores, I've heard have them. So check that out. Check that out. But again, I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's going to be the kind of scarceness that we saw in the days of the Wii.
No, I don't think so.
And the Switch, but that's just my thoughts as of now. That may change, but we'll find out. A great weekend ahead for the world of video games, and we'll cover it all right here on the Cosmos and the Super BS Gamescast, indeed. So for Josh the Great Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another day in paradise right here. Another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great
Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.